Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 190. Today we're joined with Mark Cobb from Reno. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Real good, thanks. How are you?
Cool. Very good. And Mark is from computertechsreno.com, and that's what's the official name of your business? Just Computer Techs, right?
Computer Techs. Yep.
In Reno. How's it going over there?
Good. Nice, partly cloudy day, about 67 degrees.
Darn, man, everybody wants to tell the weather. What did Simon start with this?
A fun tradition.
It's good to know that.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us on Podnutz Daily. This is your first time being a guest host on Podnutz Daily. You've called in many times, and you've been a guest on Podnutz. So, this is cool because you're going to get into some detailed explanations here of what you're running into in the computer repair field, right?
Okay.
Why don't you just go ahead and start, and I'll chime in whenever is appropriate.
Okay. Well, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity. I like the new format of the show where, the different techs out in the field can talk about what we're running into. So it gives a lot of variety, and obviously a lot of us see different things. I have a couple of computer stories I've been that I've been working on lately. One computer I was working on a couple of weeks ago. The symptoms that the customer reported was lots of basically the computer had slowed down recently. So I went over there. Definitely concluded that the hard drive was, running a lot. Usually, one of my big tools that I use is Process Explorer to see what's running in the background. What's using CPU usage or memory or whatever.
Okay.
Process Explorer showed that the hardware interrupts were usually using an unusually high amount of CPU. So, normally, if nothing else is running, I forget the name of the process, but the system process, I think, will run 99%. All the columns usually add up to 100%, but the hardware interrupts were using a lot of CPU. And again, it would start real slow. And the hard drive was just churning a lot. So I was thinking it might be a bad hard drive. I checked the hard drive with a couple different tools. HDTune, I believe, I've got on my Ultimate Boot CD. And a couple other things. Hard drive showed fine. I ended up putting more memory in.
What do you run on HDTune? Do you run a short test or the long test?
I run the short,
okay.
Just to start, just to see if it sees anything.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen it come up with anything on a short test. And I've used it maybe 5 times. So I'm still trying to find a real good hard drive diagnostic tool.
Check out the one that Scott Moulton recommended on two My Hard Drive Died shows ago. I asked him that question, what should we use to check our hard drive? And he recommended a program I never heard before, and I think it's, oddly enough, MHDD, which is the abbreviation for My Hard Drive Died. Yeah, My Hard Drive Died, but it has nothing to do with that. It's a different acronym. But that program, I think it's MHDD. It might be in the show notes. Check that out. That is supposedly better than HDTune, and it's a little more detailed. But anyway, go ahead.
Actually, yeah, I did just download that actually this morning.
Oh, cool.
Ran it on my own system. For some reason, it had the primary controller disabled and one other controller disabled. And it's in a DOS window format.
Okay.
Wasn't quite sure what it was doing, so I need to play with it more before I try it on customer systems. But that's in something to try. So, anyways, after doing some Googling on the hardware interrupts using a lot of CPU usage, the results led me to checking the transfer mode on the IDE controller.
Really?
And that's just a regular Dell box. I doubt they were in there messing with the transfer mode, but there's either a PIO mode or a DMA mode.
Right.
And for some reason, the transfer mode was in PIO mode.
Huh.
And unfortunately, there was no way to change it.
Why not?
It was, as I recall, it was grayed out. I just couldn't do it. So to fix it, what I did is I uninstalled the IDE controller devices and rebooted. And when Windows reinstalled the device drivers, they were set to the preferred DMA transfer mode, and hardware interrupts returned to normal, as did hard drive activity. So,
Never heard of that, doing that. Like when the hardware interrupts, when you notice that they were acting up, what process did it show up in the task manager? Was it just system?
Process Explorer actually has a line item for hardware interrupts.
I see. So you didn't even look at it in Task Manager. You were just using Process Explorer.
Yes.
Gotcha. I wonder what would show up in Task Manager as, or even if it would show up as anything.
I don't know. Okay. I've always used Process Explorer. It has so much more information. It shows if, it's explorer.exe is really in the system or in the Windows folder, or if it's in some other place. It shows you exactly where the file is on the computer. It shows the publisher, shows the a more friendly name toward the program. So you can see, I remember a couple of years ago, there was some fake real player viruses and stuff like that. So you'd see in Task Manager, real player, that's normal. But, in fact, it was pointing to real player.
Right.
Some weird, application data folder or something. So
interesting. Now, when you were checking this out, did you find out what PIO mode is? What does it do?
No, I didn't. But okay. In Googling, I did find out that DMA mode is preferred, and PIO mode can cause things to slow down. So I just tried it, and it seemed to work. I have no idea why there'd be the two different modes. I really didn't go that far.
Okay. I remember vaguely Mike Petro on one of his shows talking about PIO mode. And was the symptom, Mark, that the hard drive was cranking? Like, was that the main symptom, just hard drive was cranking away, or?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. That's, I've run into that a lot. I wish I would have known about that.
And the fact it was in hardware interrupts, it seemed to me like it was, remember the old IRQ issues we used to have where, one IRQ conflicted with another, it would cause things to not work right. Maybe it's along those lines.
Okay.
But anyways, got that one fixed, so that was good.
Good one.
This one I had last week, a customer called me up. She said AVG had detected some viruses, and she had to reboot after the viruses. And upon rebooting, all she gets is a blue screen of death.
Man.
So I went over there and put in my ultimate boot CD. I don't use the actual boot CD. I use like a BART PE type disk. And
wait a minute. Let me stop you there.
Okay.
What do you mean? Your ultimate boot CD, is it a variant of ultimate boot CD for Windows, or is it just BART PE with a couple programs you put on?
Well, it's actually Mini PE. It's one of the other ones out there, but I've liked that one. I'd always used BART initially, and someone turned me on to Mini PE. Mini PE loads so much faster.
Yeah,
it's not currently supported. You have to find a password out there, so it's not really widely available. But I've been real happy with it.
And what does it come with on it?
Oh, what doesn't it come with? It pretty much comes with everything. Plus a bunch of. Probably everything the Ultimate Boot CD comes with as well.
Okay. Is there anything shady about Mini PE?